In the last video, we started a short series to get you up and running with Office scripts. We're now going to build on that previous knowledge by looking at an important aspect of Office scripts, which is loops. And we've got a really powerful example to illustrate this technique. So if you're ready, let's get started. Here we have a pivot table driven dashboard. When we select items within the slicer, it then filters our dashboard. What we want to do is to save a PDF of different views of our dashboard. Each of the views is listed in our table, which is called distribution. As you can see, for Sally is interested in the online channel and where the region is Europe or UK. But Henry, for example, is only interested in retail and UK. Now, if I go to View and then Page Break Preview, you will see that this is the only section of our report which is visible. So when we create our PDF, it will be this section which is included in our PDF. Now, the PDF will include all of the visible worksheets. In our example, we also have a data sheet. So before we run our automation, we will need to hide our datasheet. That is our goal. We want to loop through the table and save a PDF of each person's area of interest. So let's head back to Excel and start writing our Office script. I'll go to the Automate tab, New Script, and create in Code Editor. Let's increase the size of our editing pane. We don't need any of our example code, so I will delete that. The first action that we want to undertake is to hide our data sheet. I'm going to add a comment, which is a // hide the data sheet. And then we're going to use our document object model, workbook.getWorksheet. The worksheet we want to get is example to data. Then we want to set the visibility. We can see set visibility. I'll enter an opening bracket. As you can see, Excel script dot sheet visibility. Excel script sheet visibility, and we want to set this to hidden. Let's now add another new line. This code is going to get the values from the table. Here is our table. If we select that and go to table design, we can see the table name is distribution. We're going to create a variable, so that will be called let, and then the variable will be called TBL values. And this will be equal to our workbook dot, enter table. You can see we have get table. The table we want to get is distribution. And then we want to get the range between the header and the total. If we enter an opening bracket, you'll notice there are no arguments required for that, so I can simply close the bracket and then close the line. If you remember back to part 1, we said that Office scripts are constructed of two parts: the Office scripts API, or document object model as it's known, and also a reduced version of the TypeScript programming language. So far, we've only really used the document object model, but now we're going to start looking at TypeScript by seeing how we can loop through each row in a table. Loops have a specific syntax. They start with the word for, and after that, in brackets, we declare three pieces of information. We create a variable which holds an initial value, which in our case will have an initial value of 0. Office scripts are zero-based, which means the first position of an item in an array is in position 0, so that is the best place to start. Then we state the condition for the loop to continue running. For example, we want the loop to keep running while the variable that we created is less than the number of rows in the table. The next piece of information is how the variable changes with each loop. We're going to add 1 to the variable each time the loop runs. That means that if we have 5 rows in our table, the loop will run 5 times. The first time, the variable will have a value of 0. then it increases to 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. In our syntax, after the closing bracket, we add curly brackets. And in there, we declare what we want to do for each loop. Now, let's go and add this to our Office script. Loop through each row. To do that, we're going to use the for loop, which starts with the word for, and then I'll enter an opening bracket. We're going to create a counter called I, so let I is a variable. We want to start with that equal to 0. And then we want to continue looping while our counter is less than the TBL values, and we want to count the number of rows. That'll be get row count. Again, that doesn't require any arguments. Finally, we want to state how much do we increment our counter by each time. We're going to do I plus plus, which means it takes our counter and pluses 1 each time. We can then declare which actions we want to perform inside this loop. First, we want to clear any previous filters that have been applied in our slicer. Clear slicers. For that, we're going to use our workbook, and then we search for slicer. We have get slicer. Now, how do we know the name of our slicers? We'll come across for our channel slicer. I'll right click, go to slicer settings, and there we can see that the name is channel. I'll cancel that. I'll open the bracket. We need the name of our slicer, which is channel. And then we want to clear the filters. There is no argument required for that. I'll close that line. Let's do the same again. But this time, instead of channel, our slicer is called region. I'll copy that, and let's use the name of region. That will now remove any settings in our existing slicer. We now need to get the values that we want to apply to our slicer. So get filter values. For this, let's create a variable, let channel. That is going to be equal to our TBL values. From there, we want to get a specific cell. The cell we want to get is based on the row number and then also the column number. Now, in Office scripts, row numbers and column numbers start counting from 0. So if I wanted the first row and the first column from my table, that would be 0 for the row number and 0 for the column number. But if you remember, we're currently looping through our table. Therefore, rather than using a fixed number, we are going to use I. That is our counter. It starts at 0, then it loops through and goes to 1, loops through and goes to 2, and so on. That means we'll then get the relevant cell from our table, but we want to get the value. We're going to use get text. That means we've now stored the text value inside the channel variable. However, you'll notice that for our first row, if we were looking at region, there are actually 2 values in there, which means we need to split our string. For that, we're going to use the split method, and all that's required is the character that we want to split by, which in this scenario is a comma. Let's copy this code, and then rather than channel, we want to use region, and region is in our second column, so that will be the number 1. Let's add another comment. This is where we apply the filters. For this, we're going to use our workbook dot get slicer. The slicer we want to get is channel, and then we want to select items. In there, we're going to pass across our channel variable. Let's do the same again. Workbook dot get slicer. This time we want region. We want selected items, and we want to pass across our region variable. Let's take a look to see what happens. I'll run this script. As you can see, we have our different slicer settings being applied in our workbook. I just want to interrupt things here and remind you that we have a full Office Scripts course in our Excel Academy. This series on YouTube is just a quick introduction. So if you truly want to learn how to master Office Scripts, just head on over to exceloffthegrid.com/office-scripts. Next, for each loop, we want to save a PDF version of our report. So download PDF. For this, we're going to use a special property called Office Script. This allows us to reach outside of our Excel workbook. When we look in there, you can see that we have an option to download file. Let's select that. I'll enter an opening bracket, and you can see that we have various properties that we need to use. Now, the best place to find out about these properties is in the Office Scripts documentation, and I'll add a link in the descriptions box below. So to download a file, we need two pieces of information, the content and the name. For our content, we're going to use our Office script once more, and we want to convert to PDF. That means it will take our workbook and create a PDF. Then we want to give our download a name. That's the second piece of information. We're going to call this report space dash space. We then want to get the value from our table. That is in our third column. Let's use TBL values, get cell, get text. We use the plus symbol to concatenate, but this time we want the third column, which is position 2. And then we want to concatenate onto that the characters of .pdf. Finally, the last action we need to undertake is to return our worksheet to being visible. Rather than hide, we want to display. And then for our option, I'll enter a dot, and we then want to make that visible. Let's rename our script, and we're going to call this dashboard download example. As before, we could just click run, but with Office Scripts, we can also add buttons onto the face of the worksheet. I'll select in the cell, I'll go to the 3 dots, and then we have the option to add in workbook. When we click that, it now adds a button to the face of our workbook. So I'll close our script window. We now have everything we need. I'm now going to click on this button. As we can see, our script is now running, our slicer selections are being made. And what we didn't see, but if we look in our downloads, is that we now have a PDF for each of those items. Let's take a look at our first PDF, and there we go. That is Mandy's report, which is retail and USA. In this video, we have seen that using Office Scripts, we can hide and unhide worksheets, we can get values from a table, we can change slicer settings, and we can download PDFs. And if we put all of this inside a looping mechanism, we can perform this as many times as we need. In the next part, we're going to push things even further by looking at how we work with logic, arrays, and parameters. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.